Hey, it's the Not So Live show, bringing it to you early because we recorded early. So much great stuff happened in Phoenix, and we wanted to bring it to you. So there's another post coming with me and Matt and Cheryl, Matt, my coach, where we talk about how I did. This one is about the elites and the event in general, what we loved, what we didn't love, et cetera, et cetera. But this is also me reminding you, which I don't think I've ever done on video or podcast, which is to say, we've got the Support HFM Cup of Coffee Club. We are going to be giving shout outs. We're going to be giving exclusive previews to you. I'm trying to speak and I can't. So the link will be in the description. Or if you ever forget, I think if you just search Google Cup of Coffee Support HFM, it'll come up. It's also in the link in bio on our Instagram, but it's how you can support this channel, which you love so much. So go ahead and do that, and let's get to the show. Away we go. Welcome, everybody. Special early edition of the Not So Live show. I'm still in Phoenix in an undisclosed hotel room. Cheryl knows where it is, but nobody else does. And Dave is in the cabin in the woods.
No, I am currently in Mississauga. I came from the cabin in the woods.
Okay.
Cabin in the beach.
And what's Mississauga again?
It's a city right beside Toronto.
Okay, what does it do? What are you there? Why is
What does it do? It's cities. It does city-like things.
Right.
It's where
Dave, did you watch HYROX Elite coverage this weekend? Did you watch regular Instagram feeds this weekend? What are your overall thoughts before we get into anything specific?
I watched the Elite coverage. I got the women's live and the men's live, and then I had to watch the doubles late last night. So I didn't get that live, but I watched all the Elite coverage. I haven't been super in tune with the rest of it. Just haven't had a chance yet, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Am I to understand that Cole Learn and what's his name? Plodge?
Alan Plodge.
That they smashed it. Did they break the record or
12 seconds off?
12 seconds off the record?
Yeah, first time racing together.
Yeah.
I think it's their first time racing together. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean I'm currently on the Cole train. So pretty excited to see that. So that's about the extent of my knowledge of the regular pro field of the rest of the event. Yeah, but I did see a lot. I watched all the Elite stuff. So.
And what are your thoughts on those races, just overall?
Overall, I mean, they're good races. I enjoy the doubles. I like the doubles very much. I still enjoy it more. The stream wasn't quite up to par. I didn't find. It's not that it was bad. It was still good. I mean,
they definitely had less graphics. I noticed right away we weren't getting as many graphics.
Yeah, not as many graphics. The kind of following of the meters on the skierg and the row, which were such a big improvement and a payoff from before, weren't consistent. Weren't even there at first on the first skierg. I mean, there was no big pregame show, which personally I don't mind. I'm not a big fan of the pregame show anyway. I think it goes on for way too long, so that didn't bother me.
Don't they usually have a half hour? Minutes? Don't they usually have a half hour where they talk?
They usually go on a little longer than that. I like 10 minutes, like max.
And it was like 15 minutes, right?
Yeah. So I mean, that part I was okay with that.
Yeah, that's all we need.
I think the ladies though was almost nothing. Like it was like on and gone. Like there was no pregame show for that. But I don't know. Something seemed off. The atmosphere seemed less. It seemed like less people. I wasn't there, but that's the way it came across on the stream. So I can't tell you, there was actually 300,000 people in the stands or whatever. But maybe that's something that comes from being in such a big stadium venue that there's no one in the seats and it makes it look more empty on the floor. I don't know. So it just. Yeah, those are my takeaway. The race was great. I enjoyed the races. That was good. Some great athletes. Everything was cool. There was one little thing that caught my eye again that I saw that was nobody's mentioned yet, so I don't know if anyone else caught it. But and maybe it's nothing, but at one point Joanna threw her gel wrapper into the rock zone, and that's littering. That's supposed to be a 2-minute fine.
Oh boy. We can't have more Joanna controversy. We're just getting over chocolate.
I know. I just
put it behind us.
The only reason I noticed it was because she was pulling something out of her shorts.
So was it an accident or she chucked it?
No. She, to correct the kids, she yeeted it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, she was. At first I was like, oh God, please no, because the first time I saw it was going into the sled pull. I'm like, please no, and it wasn't. It was like a gel pack, and she was doing her thing on it. That's great. And then she was running along on the course. Her and Lauren, they're racing, and she just turfed it over the fence into the ruck zone.
Is there, again, I'm not defending her, I'm just thinking out loud. Is there, have we combed the elite rule book where it says, because they have a few different rules, right? Like they can put their own food out and drinks on a table. Was she chucking it towards that area, the food table area?
No, this was just like the back of a grandstand. You can look it up. It's around.
Okay. All right.
I think I can tell you the time it's at if you want.
No, not this second, but later on, I'll definitely.
All right.
I'll definitely.
Anyway, for those watching, I think it's around 37 minutes or whatever.
Okay.
I'm definitely watching that after this.
I'll investigate. This is like woodsy now at this point, right? It's like, oh no, we don't have. Or rich in the early days.
Did it affect anything? No.
But rules is rules. We come up with them for a reason.
Yeah. 35:30. Start at 35:30. It'll happen within 10 seconds of that.
All right. I'll probably forget and I'll look at it. I'll message you again later.
Cheryl won't.
I have written this down. That's what I'm doing tonight.
So, I noticed I did hear some complaints about wall ball judging. Being too hostile. I don't know the other word to put it in.
Well, let's pause on that. We'll go back to that. I want to go back to what you said about it feeling empty. A stadium looks cool. Every single person. So I'm up and down all day 1,000 times over the course of fucking 4 days. Everybody who entered that stadium had their phone out as they were walking into the stadium. Now, do people take a lot of pictures normally at HYROX? Yes, but not the second they walk in. Yeah. So it's a spectacle. However, for the elite part, right, Hamburg felt way better. Glasgow felt way better. Like, wow, a lot of people jammed in to watch this thing. So are we ever going to fill 70,000 seats? Of course not. So I think they'll take that, though. I think they'll take that feeling of, hey, it doesn't feel great necessarily, versus all the other payoffs, which is everybody's in awe of it, the statement of what it means about the sport, all the cool visuals. You know, call me spoiled, Dave, but this whole concept of being inside a stadium, we've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, stadium races have been around forever.
So, but it did mean a lot to people. But I'm just like, it's cool. It is cool. But like, I've been in AT&T Stadium. I've been in San Francisco Oracle Park. I've been in Tampa Bay. You know what I mean? I've never been to Fenway. That's probably amazing. But the idea of in a stadium on its own wasn't like, I can't believe we did this. But it is a bit of a spectacle. Cheryl, you and I actually haven't talked about that piece. What is your whole thing of like, ooh, it's in a stadium? Like if they had it at what's yours in Vegas called now? Allegiant Dome?
Yeah, Allegiant. Yeah.
Would you be impressed? Would you feel like it was super cool?
So I think it's not about impressiveness to me. It just worked so much better as an event space. Like that stadium has ruined me for convention centers going forward because it was so much better, right? That entire stadium district is set up to accommodate tens of thousands of people. So parking was easy, right? Restaurants right there. Like there was just tons of space. And I would agree with you. I think they're going to take the hit on the live feed for the elites because it affects so few people. You know, the feed itself, like I went home for the men's doubles. Like I stayed for women's doubles and then I went back because
I begged Cheryl to stay. She said, Matt, I can't. I was holding onto her leg. Please
Matt said, I'm definitely going home after the women. And then he didn't. So I was like, see you later. So I went home to rest because I knew we had to race the next morning. And so I caught the live feed for the men watching, you know, Hunter and stuff and all his no reps. Cause wall balls were an issue. The live feed was fantastic. And so, sure, there wasn't energy in the space because you cannot put there's no way you can have energy when there's so many seats and this space is so massive. But most everybody saw that elite race via YouTube, and so it doesn't matter. And for the event itself, it felt amazing in there.
Oh,
There
that's
was
good.
plenty of space. There was plenty of it just felt so open, and there was enough places for all of us, and it never felt crowded. And having sort of the concourse level where they had all the vendors and everything, it just worked.
I think part of the allure of the stadium thing too for HYROX and for everybody in the sport is it reeks of potential. It puts out this dream of like, can you just imagine this stadium full of people watching this, and how cool would that be? It brings that out, that kind of that possibilities that may happen, and that's fun.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the first time we saw one, I think was it Singapore when they did the first one in that stadium, and the same thing. You were like, oh wow, that's cool. And like Cheryl said,
how about the DEKA China in a stadium? Wasn't theirs in a stadium, or was it just in a cool convention center?
It was just really good the imaging. Really good
Yeah,
imaging.
no, they did just a good job marketing.
But yeah, and the fact that the footprint of the stadium, it just allows for so much more simplicity. And like this was not a grid format, right?
No. They had a little zone for everything,
which made it harder to watch. I was hoping to see a grid. Like I wanted that experience.
That's true. Yeah, it didn't affect the.
Good.
Yeah, and the whole bag thing. I'm good. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm okay now.
I will say this. Well, yeah.
Okay, the whole bag thing was never a problem. I brought my little white plastic bag a couple of times, but the other times I brought my big bag, and I was the only person being checked. I mean, maybe 3 people in front of me. Like, there was never lines, and I think I was pretty foolish, Dave. You were like, Matt, they're used to dealing with 50,000 people. I think they can do it. I will say, let's cover this briefly.
I think it was Cheryl that said that, and she was bang on. Yeah.
No, because I knew that they were going to be able to handle that, but I really was worried about just a lot of people having a lot of bags. And there have been times I've been at Allegiant Stadium where, yeah, you're in a line for a little bit, right? And so you get a little nervous. But they had this whole thing locked down. Like, okay, first of all, I will say stadiums are used to accommodating tens of thousands of people. They're just used to accommodating them in the seats. But we're just all down on the floor. It's almost like the football team's in the seats this time, and the fans are down on the floor. And so they know exactly what they're doing. And those security guards, boy, they are trained. Like, they knew you couldn't get away with anything, right?
I'm going to say to a fault. So we joked about this. So they had you go down the stairs, and then there'd be the little bridge that we usually do on the bridges.
Yeah, there were 4 bridges
to go down, and
right,
and
2 to go down and 2 to go up.
Right. So, and it's a good idea for traffic flow. However, when the elite races were happening, especially the doubles, there's no foot traffic, and so you would try to go up or down there. No, and it's like, it's probably fine. Like, read the room. There's nope. You got to go all the way over there. And they just, and you could say, I had this thought later, because me, you can't tell me anything. Cheryl had to convince me to write my name on my arm because I was being a stickler about that. And you could not have gotten anywhere near the start line if you had to pass like 3 sets of guards just to go downstairs. And we'll talk about that. But anyway, the point is, my thought was, even if you ask them really nicely, they probably have some boss that would say, nope, no matter what, because this is how we do it on game day. We're never switching. Yeah. So even though we had our media table set up behind a base fit, and we set up a little table so we could work. But like, that's also where the handicap section is, but nobody was in them most of the time, and they were 10 feet over. And today, the last day, this woman who was not the guard there before was like, you can't be here. It's like, why not? She's like, well, they're going to come in. And it's like, well, I think we're plenty of out of their way, but if a wheelchair comes, we'll stand up and you could put the chair there.
Yeah.
And then I wanted like to take one of the chairs. So like 10 chairs, 6 were being sat in. I go, can I have that one? She's like, no. And I said, well, if someone needs it, I promise I'll give it up. She says, I shouldn't have to do that. I was like, okay. I found a chair somewhere else. So yeah, they were down the line.
They could do assertiveness training. Like they just did their job and did not care. And that was extremely impressive in a lot of ways. It did make it a little inconvenient, but they ran a tight ship.
So so I guess we'll go back and talk about you want to start with the men's race? I don't know where you want to start, guys.
Wherever. I guess the women's race was first. But...
All right, let's start with the women's race first. So Joanna is a freight train, and watching her, the thought I had at one point was, how did she ever lose? Like, how did she not win the world championship just a few months ago? So I don't know what gear she found, but oh boy.
She never looks tired. She never looks like she's working. She always looks, like calm and smooth. And she never looks like she's pressing. So that could just be pure optics. But yeah, right now she is completely on fire. The only question you can possibly ask is she peaking too early? And reminiscent of what happened with JK, right? Like, but other than that, like right now,
But JK never won 3 majors.
Well, no, what did he win? Like 2 out of 4 or something like that. Like he was on a streak where he just looked like a force. Maybe not to that level. And then come time when the world's running, it wasn't quite there. But she just looks so dialed in and so prepared in every fashion that it's hard. Like nothing seems to phase her. Somebody else makes a surge or a move, and she just trucks on and does what she does. And she seems almost unbeatable at the moment.
And she's such a presence, right? Like, because she's, I don't know, is she 6 even? 6'1"?
I have no idea.
It's just
she's tall.
But it's just impressive to see.
How much taller is she than Vivian?
I don't know.
Okay, because I think Vivian's got to be like that 5'10"-ish.
Yeah, I'm probably not the best person to ask. I know Emily is taller than all of them. I think she is. But yeah, that was literally my thought at one point. I forgot it was it was 4th or 5th station, and she was X amount ahead of Lauren. And I just remember thinking, like, who's going to beat this woman?
Mm-hmm.
But that's it, right? Everybody who's on top is like that for a while. Like we said, for Lauren forever is how can she be beat, right? And then somebody comes around and get it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It reminded me of early Lauren and early Hunter when we just thought, wow, like there's no one close. Again, we need to see Meg back in there, obviously, but yeah.
It's always how can someone until they find a way. And that's true from fighters and UFC and boxing. Like this person's unbeatable until
right. Well, and we spent, we just broke down me and Cheryl's race with Matt earlier, and we talk about like the problems people solve and the Jenga puzzle that people figure out. And Rich, said, I did 15 of 16 things right, and the one piece missed, right? When he passed Ronco late, like I literally got out of my seat. I was like, oh my God, like this is going to happen. And then Dave, I decided to go to the back, which was the best view to get them coming across and also the best way for me to interview them after. And so I'm hearing the announcer and I'm hearing that it's not going to happen. I know Ronk's going to be first. So Ronk comes through. So I can't see what's happening. I could just lots of noise. Ronk comes over. And then who was second place? Not
JK.
Rich.
JK.
Oh, I thought JK was third. JK comes over and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to blow it. He's not going to make it. And then one more. No. Then he crossed.
Yeah.
And then right behind him was Sean. And I was like, whoo. So, and I know that no reps were part of it, but he also admits he lost his head a little bit. But yeah, like even to that detail, like Rich had a perfect race, and had he won, we would have said he solved it today. We wouldn't say he's unbeatable. We'd be like, wow, he solved that problem today. He beat Ronco, he beat JK, he beat all these fast guys. But yeah, it's becoming really fun to watch.
Well, I will say I did not think that the women's race was fun to watch. I thought, look, when she's that good, it's boring.
What
right?
about second and third? What about who's going to qualify?
Yeah, no,
Who's got purple? Who
absolutely.
doesn't
Listen,
have purple?
there are
Yeah.
women, and don't get me started on the purple. You do not want to hear. I have spent far too much time thinking and talking about this. My poor husband. But look, there was a point I remember a couple years ago when is Meg Jacoby in the race? Oh, who's going to win? Like everybody knew she was going to win, right? And that's how I'm feeling about Joanna. Is sure there may be people in that field that she was competing against that might be able to solve the problems. I'm not so sure any of them are going to solve a problem enough that are going to take out how just consistently good she is at everything, right? She's just good at everything. And it makes for not very exciting watching. Yeah. like it's like, oh, okay, she's going to win. Like I do try to approach this as just a fan, like who gets my attention? Who do I enjoy? Who do I like? That sort of thing. And it's almost like she's so consistent and she's so perfect that there's not a lot I can root for because what does she need? Like she's just got it, right? And I'm very, very happy for her. Like I'm not saying I'm not, but as far as like watching this, I can't see of anybody who's going to be able to touch her at this point.
All I can say, Cheryl, is don't watch Formula One. If you're not into watching somebody win a lot, the same person, don't watch Formula One. But I mean, realistically, she's won three majors in a row, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's awesome and that's great. But we all know that can fall apart in a race. So I don't think she's not so dominant for me that she's to the point where it makes the sport more boring. I'm still. So, okay, because I didn't go into that race thinking, okay, well, Joanna's got this. And
well, we both picked
by the way, for people like we are not counting, I'll speak personally, I'm not counting Lauren Weeks out. Like I know Lauren can win the next major and the next major and the world championship. But watching Joanna, you have that thought because you see the gap, you see how smooth she looks, like, and that's the story right now. Like and I like Dave's pessimism. And yeah, if she loses on the world stage, we're going to be like, yep, just like JK, she peaked too soon. Right. Mm-hmm. But if she doesn't, she will have put together like one of the best years we've seen in our very young sport.
Well,
yeah.
She's already is, even without winning at worlds. Like, I mean, 3 majors is awesome. It's amazing. She's just done unreal. And this is her second year.
Yeah, no, she's so young and just spectacularly impressive.
To slightly change the subject, I think this speaks to something else we talk about in the macro, which is having sponsors, getting here early, right? Mm-hmm. She didn't fly over the night before, right? Mm-hmm. She's got, she's Puma, right?
Oh yeah.
She's Puma. She's the feed. She's a Maze Fit. She might be LSKD. No, if she's Puma, she has to be head to toe.
I just know like she got the Pumas on for sure.
Yeah. So being able to travel because you've got sponsorship and you can get here early and acclimate and like all that stuff just like works in your favor.
Yeah.
By the way, back to the live stream, they did those stupid non-commercials about the shoes. I hate that.
Well, they just kept talking about how great they were.
Yeah. Oh, they have the Puma shoes on so they can do this or the more stability, you know. And I'm just like, do a commercial. I'm okay with a commercial.
So let
me get my shoe. Let me get my shoe.
And they put across the bottom of the screen the whole pre-sale for the white center equipment and stuff. Which here's the thing, I don't care about that. I don't know why anyone would buy it, but I don't care. And the way they did it, cool. That's a little ad. That's a commercial. I'm fine with that.
Cheryl, tell them how much those white ropes are going to sell for.
I think they should sell for $0. Who's going to buy a white rope
or a white? Like everything's gonna be dirty in 2 seconds.
Exactly, just grimy, right?
I don't even like who wears a white workout shirt
or white shorts.
So these are the coveted Puma shoes. I really enjoyed racing in them. I did a few training runs. I did one workout, maybe 2 beforehand. But while I was pushing the sled and pulling the sled, I wasn't thinking, "Oh my God, thank God I'm wearing these things." Cheryl, did you notice? Did my feet look especially? I mean. You can wear the wrong shoe, right? You can wear the wrong shoe, but yes. I don't think they made that much of a difference.
Right. I wasn't looking at your shoes. You were doing great. I was fine with it, but people were noticing that you were wearing the shoes.
Well, they're very loud. They are.
Very bright. I
Should
am
we?
I am shocked that Puma thinks that this pink thing is going to work.
You mean overall?
Yeah, like the bright pink that they had in the merch area and the bright pink shoes and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I think there is probably a small segment of the population that wants to like show up like that, but it's a bold statement.
I mean, people were definitely wearing the hoodie. I saw the hoodies that have it looks like the Zodiac killer sign actually on the back, and it said
Yeah.
Puma.
Yeah.
And so I think they try different colorways almost at every event. The local vendor, the local shirts as we call them. And I was telling Sheila earlier, like I was like, I'll buy a shirt this weekend. Like, you know, I usually buy maybe one. And nothing, I didn't love anything. If I don't love it, I'm not getting it. It was all meh, meh, meh. It's
Mhm.
nothing I don't already have. So
I haven't bought a venue shirt in ever.
not even Spartan.
No, okay, so I did buy one at World Championships this year, and only because it had my name on it and my wife's name on it.
Right.
Oh.
Because no, well, and on the back of the DEKA World Championship shirt that you could buy, the venue one, it had everybody's name on it that was there, like they do up on the.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'll buy that. That's the only one I've ever bought. I wanted to buy a HYROX one when I was in Chicago when I did my first one. I went there and I told Ryan, I'm like, I'm going to spend stupid money on a shirt that I shouldn't do, but I'm going to do it because this is cool. And I think that particular event, I'm like, there's just nothing I liked. I'm like,
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
happens
I'm-
like that sometimes.
And I went. They didn't even have to sell me. I went ready to, shut up and take my money. Like, and
Right.
it was just.
And you couldn't
well,
even find something to pay for.
find something.
Well, you know,
Again,
again, we talk about peak HYROX. The dollar figure, I don't know what the dollar figures that people spend on a weekend, but if you're racing multiple times, you're probably at the merch tent buying merch too. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of these people are doing, right? It's like their personality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's the difference between
this is my
us.
favorite HYROX shirt.
That's the difference between us and like it's not our personality. But I think some people it really is.
Well, and I also feel like it's not our demographic. Like I go in to the merch area and like for the women, so many of the tops are like cropped, right? And there's no way that's happening at my age, right? So like I do think it's to this really narrow kind of income level and age, right? And that's what they're looking for, and they keep it real tight. Do they want to expand to us? I don't know. They should know that we're the ones with the money, right? Like we are the ones with the money. But I don't think they really care about us as much as they do that other bunch.
Well, but clearly they're getting those folks. Again, I don't know where they're getting the money either, but they're getting those folks to race multiple times on a weekend and get there.
Right.
Like you still got to get there.
And the merch is then incidental to the amount of money you've already spent. So yeah. But I don't know. I was just I'm surprised. Do I want to run around in those pink shoes? No, I just don't want to run around in the pink shoes. So so they can tell me all they want that it's nice and sturdy and try to show me how bad the Sauconys are compared to the Pumas and that sort of thing. But give me some color options that don't make me look like
so
a
do
nut
they
out
not
there.
sell these in any other color?
So as a dude who's like, I think kind of considered like a manly man kind of guy.
Yes.
I think shoes are the only thing you can get away with running shoes are the only thing you can get away with wearing any color.
I would agree with that.
So like, yeah, I think you can get away with it. I know, I mean, how long's Hoka been doing weird fucking colors? I know ultras that I wear, they got some weird colors and stuff. VJs were just bizarre.
Right.
So I think.
Wait a minute. Why are the street version, the Nitro 300, and the Pumas are 180? I'm sorry, the DV8 Nitro 4s are 180. Why is it another $100 for the non-Puma, non-HYROX shoe?
Non-HYROX one's more?
It's $300.
Because it used to be the other way around. It used to be if you had HYROX on it cost more, like cost an extra $50 to put the HYROX logo on it.
We need Matt Halfhill to tell us all these things. He would know.
Yeah, he's good with that stuff.
Yep. Here's what I'll say, Dave, is I've just never been just confident enough to like attract attention to myself. And I think I think the people who are, willing to have a good time and just, put themselves out there, I think this stuff is great for them.
Well, I mean, Puma's got to be really happy that, it's like if the elites are all wearing it, then people do buy them. It's like that's kind of how it went with VJ. Remember in OCR, the start line was almost all VJs. But I still don't think people are buying the outfits. They're wearing LSKD. They're wearing Gymshark. They're wearing, you would know better than me, Cheryl.
Yes.
People aren't wearing Puma clothes to these
No,
races.
not so much. I did see when we were out running, there was one mixed doubles team in the full purple pink combo that they were selling. And boy, they stood out for sure. But I didn't see anybody else taking that.
If you buy the thing that they're selling many of to stand out, you'll never stand out because they're selling many of the things.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You have to have your own thing,
Yes.
which you get somewhere else, like
Correct.
black and red plaid shorts.
Which, well, for our relay, I have mine ready to go because I want,
and they stand out. I mean,
we all need our brand.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the races. So, is there anything else we want to say about men's or women's solo race? Oh, let's talk about penalties, I guess. To me, this is what I feel like. I feel like Hamburg, they went fucking crazy. I didn't notice as much in Melbourne because it was on at a weird time and I never really went back and watched it. But this time it definitely felt like, oh, well, they're scaling back. We're not getting every doubles team with a penalty. But then you had these a couple of weird versions with Rich in his wall balls, Hunter in his wall balls. Poor Tanya got apparently railroaded again. I don't know if you read her story, but I talked to her right after her race, and this was just a women's pro. This wasn't even elite. But she's, if you read her thing, it spells it out pretty clearly that apparently someone told her to, like, you're fine. And then they said, no, your last jump was staggered. And she's like, here's the video. You tell me what the fuck staggered is because it looks not staggered to me.
From BBJ's?
Yes.
And so that's where she got the 15-second penalty?
Yes.
So first thing I have to say, I do want to hear what Dave has to say. He looks frozen though. So, oh no, he's not. He's just listening. Okay. So is it an Elite 15 race if Rich Ryan isn't getting harassed by some judge?
Right? Well, right.
Like he seems to get someone who just gives him a hard time. And then it seems like he hasn't solved the mental problem of not being able to shrug that off. Because when it happened to him in BBJs, it really messed him up. And it happened to him in wall balls and it really messed him up. Like he gets frustrated really fast, which I probably would too, right? You're just trying to get it done.
Not me. Cool as a cucumber. That's what they call me. Even Steven.
Exactly. Like, I don't care. I'm just going to keep working, right?
I'm basically just like Jake. I'm super easy. Just no complaints from me.
There you go. You hardly hear a thing, right? I still don't know what Hunter's team was doing that got them the penalty.
I'm going to pull it up while you're talking.
Okay. Because
I might have missed this. You have to show me this because I'm not quite 100% sure what's going on here.
They were on world record pace.
Yeah.
And they lost the world record because they got 14 no reps.
Oh,
and
okay. So
right up to the end.
So it wasn't like a 15-second penalty. It was no.
Nope.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm with you then. I understand. Just when you said penalty, I thought I missed something.
No. So and here's what I will say about the penalties. I noticed too, there just didn't seem to be a lot of penalties in the elite races. And I kept wondering, is it because it wasn't on the grid? Like for whatever reason, the grid makes it feel a lot tighter and the judges can be just sort of right on it. And instead, this was just like a full-on rock zone effort, right? Like they were having to run through and then they would get in there and it just seemed looser. Like it didn't seem as high pressure where there was many eyes on them, even though there absolutely were.
Yeah, every one of them had their own judge kind of beside them.
Right. And for whatever reason, it just didn't seem as high pressure. And I couldn't help but feel like if maybe that was sort of translating to fewer penalties somehow. Like the athletes felt more relaxed. They were able to just execute better. I'm not really sure, but it was refreshing to not have to see that as much of an issue. I can speak to just judging in general in the age group races after this, but I still don't know what was happening with wall balls, that they were giving them such a hard time. Okay, Matt's found it.
Okay. Do you remember where, is it right at the end or is it the whole thing?
What, the no reps?
Yeah.
So get them right toward the end when they're like 80 in.
Okay, let me try to make this bigger first of all.
Okay.
Fuck.
So here's the problem, and this is the one difference between, and if we watch the other videos and when Matt gets queued up, between Rich's issue with the wall balls and maybe some of the other ones. With Rich's, something that we were able to kind of discern from the video that you can't very often is when Rich was getting a penalty for depth or a no rep for depth, you would see his judge tap him on the leg.
Yes.
So maybe I'll go back to that after the year.
How many should I get to?
Okay. Oh, is this okay? This is the doubles, right? Okay.
How many should we get to?
So let them get, quite a bit up there because they're getting. Look, they've already got 9 no reps, right? And they're only 38 in.
So they're not. What are they? Are they saying anything? And this is a horrible angle. This is the aerial angle.
Well, that was the problem too. Is that seemed to be the only angle they seem to be willing to give us, and so
I think that might be intentional.
And the judge isn't saying anything. At least with Rich, you saw him like tapping him to tell him that it was a depth thing.
Okay, so it's this woman here because this guy is looking at the one next to him. So it's this woman here, and it looks like Matt Locke is talking to Jake here. 10 no reps. Yeah, I can't tell shit. This is
here's the problem: is we don't know, and this is what I was saying with the Rich thing. We don't know if the no reps they're getting is for the target or for depth.
Rich said it was depth.
No, I'm not talking about Rich. I'm talking about Hunter here.
Yes.
Right? Because her judge or his judge is not giving any signal as to if she's giving the no rep
or if the target is giving the no rep.
So we don't know that. So this makes it a little bit different because we can't.
But it has to be because he was complaining, and he's definitely not complaining because he missed the target.
No, but I mean, you can miss that target so microscopically and account it as a no rep. You might still think it's good because they're really, really dialed in for those.
And everyone else is just dead center. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying that's where it becomes hard to say, right?
I guess.
Whereas Rich's is different because every time Rich got a penalty, no rep for depth, his judge tapped him on the leg. So that's why, and like you say, that's why Rich was saying it was no depth, and I could tell it was from no depth because he was tapping him on the leg and then tapping the tablet. He has to.
Did you think Rich's reps were fine?
So, and I figured we talked about this. So from the angle, obviously you can't tell very well, right? It's not a great angle, so I could not tell for sure. However, because I'm able to see what reps were allowed and then which ones were called for no depth, you can gauge that there needs to be a difference between the two different reps, right?
And
at that point, I could not tell when that judge would call a no depth for reps and when they wouldn't. So the difference in that judge's line is got to be infinitesimally, really fucking small.
And the ones that weren't called no reps, would you call those good reps, bad reps, or on the line? You personally?
I can't say because I can't tell from the side. All I can say is if that judge references that as a good rep, their no rep looked the same.
Right. Well, then that's what Rich needs to take.
And so that's why I believe Rich does have a legit complaint, is because there's no variation. There's no difference between the two. So how is he to know which one's to depth and which not? So I think he has a legit gripe. And then I did think it was hilarious that he motions for another judge and they replaced the judge beside him, but not his.
They replaced it who?
The judge beside him, the other person's judge. I think that was who's in third?
Well, what's the rule? Is he allowed to even do that?
You can motion for a new judge, and if they feel so inclined, they can switch it. I've seen it done on burpees before.
Let's play devil's advocate here for a second. Okay. I'm a judge, right?
Yep.
And I decide, don't tell me whether this is right or wrong, but I just decide, you know what? No matter who I get, they're getting a couple because I want to keep them fucking honest. At some point in the first 100, first 30, I'm going to no rep a couple times.
Yep.
Even though that's not what you're supposed to do, I kind of understand because it's like you're just keeping them honest, right? Cheryl looks shocked. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just giving.
No, I 100% in any sport that happens, right? A judge wants to take control, a ref wants to take control, and they're like, they want to let the players or the competitors know, I'm out here, I'm paying attention, I'm not going to tolerate your bullshit.
Right? It's worth it's worth whatever, right? The 4 seconds, whatever it is. But that's it. Then you stop.
And the thing is, it's not like judging these things are so different. And here's the problem I think that's happened with HYROX, and this includes the burpees, includes the wall balls, everything. Is there's been such a 180 shift
in
the mindset and the culture of what the judging should be. why that is could be partly our fault. But there's been such a 180 shift in it that, and when I talk to judges, I try to tell them this: do not hunt for no reps.
You're
Do not hunt for bad things, right? We do not have to hunt them. They will appear. Your job is to observe and just call what happens, right? So while you have to have the courage and the assertiveness to call a no rep when it happens, no matter what the situation, you don't need to go looking for it. And I think right now, some of the judges are looking for it because they've been hyped up so much to call things, to call it. If it's out of line, call it. That it's that fine line, and it drives that psyche over the line to hunt for things. Not everybody, not every judge, but some do that, and it happens, right? It's just one of those things where you can take two attitudes of it: one, that the judges are calling it too close, or two, that if you're that close, just go a little lower so that you're not that close, and that you remove all doubt. So
yeah,
it's tough. It's
well,
not an
Matt,
easy.
in our race, I mean, your first set of wall balls, you got 1 no rep, and I do think that was a wake up call for you, and you got 0 no reps after that, right? Like you kind of dialed it in.
But I do think there is something to that wideness, because I'm telling you, in my sets of 10, 1 or 2 in the past, I've always gotten no rep because it's slightly off, and this time I got none of those. Just the first time she said you have to get lower. And again, I knew it was one of those, as soon as I got up, I knew I wasn't high enough. But again, they narrow it. And yeah,
well, they've admitted that they narrow and expand the target.
Right.
Point.
So I don't know. So maybe
I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, Dave, it's like, if they want you to hit a point in the target, that should be the thing. I think hitting the fucking square is what you want to do. The point is going down, like there's no advantage to it going off to the right slightly. I don't understand it.
You're looking for the height, not the specific.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, with my last HYROX, I got 22.
It's not a rifle. It's not a rifle contest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So who cares if you're slightly off? Like, you're going down, you're throwing up. That's the movement standard, right?
Right. Yeah, because a lot of the targets are just stripes on the wall, right?
Yeah.
That people are just hitting that height. Dave, you got 22 no reps?
Yeah, in Toronto. Yeah, almost 1 in 4.
And you knew, why that was happening.
Every one of them was for missing the target. Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm going to say most of them were deserved.
Okay.
Like, I would say probably 95% of them were deserved.
I just feel like if you've got a judge who's going to be a little bit arbitrary just because they want to look assertive, that just feels chaotic to me. Like, it feels like there's just an anarchy that's being introduced in a really highly stressful situation anyway. And I would hope the judges aren't doing that,
I don't think they're intending to. I think it's a mindset, and it's got a lot to do within the prep of the judges, how you prepare the judges to go out there, how you train them.
Yeah.
And I mean, judging, refereeing is such a fine line everywhere. And we know there's the rule as it's entirely written. There's the spirit of the rule as to what they really want it to be, what we really want to happen. And it's very different at times. And we know, you guys watch NFL, you go holding on every stick and play.
Right.
Right. Every time, but you don't. Right. So it becomes, that's the spirit of the rule. It's very difficult. And it's easy to say, and I've done it before, where it's black and white for fitness. You came low enough or you didn't. But when you're dealing with this hip crease below the knee, and it's such a very difficult thing to see, and everybody's atomically different. And I still think, by the way, the hip crease below the knee is a terrible way to judge this, because people's thighs and their body shapes completely change that scenario. But it's so open to interpretation that the judges can be just manipulated that way. I don't think any of those judges go in there going, I'm going to fuck somebody up here, because quite frankly, they would not be volunteering their time. They want some not volunteer, but it's not like anybody's making a ton of money out there judging and anything. That they're doing it because they love the sport, they love the game, but I just think that they get wound up sometimes by the training, and they end up hunting for it.
Let me just tell you the conversation I had with my husband, who worked as a head judge 2 days, and then he worked as a volunteer 1 day. So he was there 3 days. And I showed you guys some footage of the wall ball station, and the judges just standing around. There were more judges than they needed at almost all times throughout the event. Like they really, really staffed judging well this time. He said there were plenty. We didn't have issues with any of it. There were so many judges at BBJ's, you couldn't get away with anything. They were swimming all over the place. But number one, I had a conversation with Pam Fox, who just had finished her pro solo, and she did great, right? She got a really good time, but probably got about 50 no reps on her wall balls, to the point where
she was 5-0.
She was absolutely exhausted and could not figure out what was going on, and her judge would not stop no repping her. So she finally, you're so busy just trying to get it done that you don't think to yourself, like Rich did, bring me another judge. Like, let's get another set of eyes on this, because this isn't going well, right? Like communication is clearly broken down.
And this is not Pam's first race. She has done as many of these as doing. Count.
Absolutely. She knows
she's
what
she's doing. One.
So she ended up bringing over another judge, and the judge watched her a few times. And when she got to 70, he let her go because he had seen what had happened. And apparently, number one, they shut down that target shortly after she went through, just because they'd been having so many problems with it. But apparently that particular judge was just calling a lot of no reps.
Yeah.
And my husband's observation at BBJ's was there was a head judge there that seemed to only be there to find fault.
Yeah.
And she was driving people insane, right? And so you get all these people, and clearly HYROX is finally like paying these temp agencies and getting a lot of people. But there are going to be those people that think the way they do their job is by hitting some sort of quota of no reps, right? Like they don't know what they're really there for.
I want to speak to Rich's thing. I was actually just watching. I'd never gone back and watched it.
Yeah.
His first 50, he had like 7 no reps.
Yeah.
Then he didn't have any for a really long time. So I don't know what changed or what happened, but in that time, Sean was starting to catch him, but then Sean was starting to get no reps, which makes more sense that your form might dip as you progress.
Yeah.
And then Rich didn't run across the stream fast enough, and he almost lost to him. But did his judge just decide? Because if they didn't switch the judge, I don't know if the judge decided, because I assumed he was getting no rep the whole way. It was only those first 50.
Well, the funny thing is, Sean was it Sean that was beside him?
I think Sean was 2 over, maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah,
maybe
I
he
think
was
we're next
beside
to
him.
each other.
Okay, anyway. So 2 things could have happened there. 1, the judge could have, just decided to back off a bit. Or 2, Rich may have just said, okay, I need to drive even deeper here and remove all doubt, like I said, because he's like, even though I know what I normally do is good, this guy's not calling it good, so I need to go even deeper, even if it takes me longer, just because I'm not going to win this battle right now.
Right.
And again, from the visual spectrum we had, the angle we're at, we couldn't tell the difference, which it goes back to my thing of I could not tell what that judge wanted from a good rep to bad rep because I couldn't tell visually.
Yeah, Sean is right next to him.
Okay, so the funny thing is when Sean started getting no reps, this is the judge that got switched out.
Interesting.
So maybe one of the head judges saw his judge and thought Sean was getting away with some reps that he shouldn't have. So he switched out that judge and brought in a head judge to
Gotcha.
call him that.
Well, Dave, you've mentioned before that in this sport that it really is a relationship between 2 people when it comes to this judging. And you do need to kind of figure out what your judge wants. Yeah. And there needs to be kind of that relationship so that you understand what they're going to expect of you and you deliver it. Yeah. And I think that arguing with your judge is never the solution, right? No. That's not necessarily going to help, but having the presence of mind to ask for somebody to come, that's a different story, right?
No, I think Rich handled the situation.
He knew exactly what to do.
I think the only thing that was unfortunate is it was to his detriment because he did drop the ball and have to pick it up again, and that cost him a little bit of time. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he was out of line. I don't think he did anything untoward. I think he handled it like a professional and just I got no critique whatsoever of that.
No, so be like Rich, like realize, okay, this isn't going well, but yelling at the judge isn't going to help, right? Can I find someone else to bring in?
I don't even think he said a word to that judge.
Right. Because why would you? Yeah, and he did
Yeah,
that with the BBJs last time too, where he asked somebody else to come in.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that, to Pam Fox's credit, she finally figured that out, but I think she was just so like in it that she was just trying to get it done, and she was just getting so exhausted that she finally figured out, oh, I need to bring somebody else in because I think there's a problem, right? And so then she was able to bring somebody in. I just think that for all of us going forward, that's kind of the move.
Yeah, and I think for anybody who comes into this to do some judging, to do some refereeing, again, number one, thank you. We really appreciate it. It's awesome.
Yes.
It does not exist without you. But number two, and I mean, I would give this as just my own personal bit of advice, and maybe this might come off as arrogant, but I'm probably the most well-known judge in this sport.
Yes.
You don't make a name for yourself doing this by just coming out and calling a bunch of no reps and being a hard ass.
Right.
You make a name for yourself by doing a good job and calling what you should call. And people won't always agree with you, but that's how you do it. You don't do it by just being a hard ass.
Right.
That might be it might be part of it. There might be a time and a place, but yeah, don't hunt for it.
Don't hunt. I like that. But I will say, I mean, so, Jake had, he was head wall ball judge the first 2 days. Actually, he was kind of floating, but he was at wall balls a lot, of course. The first day, he said those temp people that they brought in just didn't know what they were doing. Like, he was having a really hard time training them and getting them to do what they needed to do. And so day one wasn't so great. And then he said he had a group day two where he was really able to just get them dialed in, and they were a really great team. But the standard conversation he would have with these people is they would say, I didn't even know this thing existed. What is this? This looks so fun. These are the people that are judging us, right? So they may not know what the goal is.
I don't think those are the Elite 15 judges, but
no, of course not. No, I'm talking in general
but it
for
could
sure.
be the pro wave judges.
But Cheryl, this goes back to Cheryl, what I was telling you about when I owned a staffing company, about how companies, like suck. Like they just like stick bodies at places and figure the client will take care of the rest. Don't actually like prepare them.
Yeah. But then how are we getting, like, I don't even know where they're getting these Elite 15 judges, because so often they seem like they're doing things that are sort of obviously not great.
Well, those are the HYROX staff, aren't they? Aren't those all the head judges, all the white?
Well, no, not all of them. I mean, I've done Elite 15 judging, and I did so by pretty much applying to do so, right? And a bit of reputation. So I think
right, but it's not. But it's people who are usually who they.
You're not getting somebody from the staffing company doing Elite 15 judging. You're getting someone who knows the sport.
Right, but they are also not just getting someone that they randomly did it that day. They're getting the people in the white shirts. And I now notice some people have something called race director on their patch, and it's more than one person. So clearly, like they race direct different races.
Yes. Yeah. You're getting, and sometimes you're getting people who are athletes, and someone like Cheryl, or could go and she'd be like, I've been doing this forever. I know it. If she was to email and say, I'd like to be a head judge, an Elite 15 judge in Vegas or whatever, because I'm there and I'm home and blah, blah, blah. She's likely the kind of person they would consider to take, right? Because of so much experience in the sport and whatnot. But the one thing I will put out there too is, and sometimes this escapes everybody, just because you are a great athlete, doesn't mean you're a good judge.
Yeah, I would be a terrible judge.
You know the rules of the sport.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, and it's been very much my experience, that a lot of the elite athletes, not all of them, but a lot of them have no idea what the rule books say.
Yeah.
Right? They're just good. They're fit, they're athletic, they're strong, they're fast, they're good. So it's tricky. It's very tricky. I mean, I sympathize with HYROX's plight for coming up with good judges. I'm very glad to hear that they had bodies on the floor.
Plenty of bodies for the age groupers, but yeah, look, Rich lost $3,000 because of this judge, right? Like,
it's a lot more than $3,000. Winning a race versus not winning a race is pretty huge,
right?
Well, yeah. So it's a tough one, and I think he has a legitimate gripe. I believe absolutely zero will be done about it.
Right.
And no, but seriously. And if I was in HYROX shoes, so if I was in Matt Locke's shoes right now, and one of the Elite 15 came to me and said, "Hey, I got fucked over here," my answer would be, okay, I'm very sympathetic, and I we'll talk to the judges. And other than that, the call on the field stands. And I'm sorry, I wish I could do more.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I got to see this.
That is
Now
my
I got to
call.
see this thing that happened with Joanna. Now you've got me excited. So where is it?
30. What did I say? 35 or 37?
After or before what station?
I can't remember exactly, but just let me see. So that's why I wrote down the time.
35:30 is what he said.
35:30.
Yeah.
And within 10 seconds.
Again, if you help me with a station, it would help.
I know. I'll have to find it again.
All right. Oh, well.
I'll
let it around that.
But,
all right. Can we move on? We got a few more subjects to cover on the weekend.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. So let me open the notes here. I want to talk about the tailgate party. So it looked like I was only there for a little bit, but it looked like they actually did, what they call activations or experiential marketing events are supposed to do, which is not just, oh, there's a booth, let me keep walking. Everybody had different stuff. Amazfit had cold plunge. Somebody had a chef cooking hot dogs. There was field goal kicking contests. Like it looked, they had Elite 15 athletes there signing footballs. I would say it went well, and I think they probably want to figure out more ways to do it. But obviously, if you don't have good weather, you probably can't do a cool outdoor activation. What were your thoughts, Cheryl?
I thought it was amazing. They had a truck pull at one of the booths. They had all sorts of stuff going on. I thought it was really, really well executed, and it gave us all something to do other than just standing in the venue shouting at each other, which is why Matt's voice is, we just get so exhausted just trying to socialize while people are racing. It was just this party outside. It was right there. It wasn't Station 9 across in Scottsdale, right? Like it was right there. And so we just had to pop out, and it was like 75 degrees and gorgeous. And you're right. If they could figure out a way, I really do think the move in the United States is to just start doing these events at stadiums, because it was just so nice to have that big space in the parking lot to do something where people could get together. And we saw tons of people talking about each other's races and that sort of thing. It was a really, really good feel.
Yeah. I went up to the nice folks at Surf Dating, and they gave away these matchbooks. Because nothing says fitness like matchbooks. I mean, the woman said like, oh, well, if you go to a nice cool bar, they have these. So they wanted to do these at like nice cool bars, I guess. So, okay. And I attempted to give very generous feedback. And I said, hey, talk to my friend who's like kind of like single, HYROX, 30s, perfect demographic. He said it was not very easy to get into your app. And she kind of gave me some like excuses. And I said, listen, I'm just telling you, this is the feedback. And she's like, well, it's just your phone number and we delete it. And then this, and then we use 2-factor. And I'm like, okay. And I'm telling you, like, there might be some other ways to do it. So she didn't really want to hear it. And then she told me that since this thing was announced, they've been signing up 500 people a day. I don't know if I believe that, but that's apparently what they said. So, and I would say that like I saw a couple of people throughout the day, like I kind of check on these things approaching, but I see this one working out about as well as Legends, which also nobody ever goes up to during the day.
They were across from each other on the concourse there. It was just like this lonely little section, like I think people just didn't want to necessarily be associated with it.
Well, but again, if you've like, because I've done this for a living, I think I have some insight, but I don't think you have to be a genius to know that if you've got a booth and one booth has some kind of activation, pull-up contest, whatever, and or someone going, hey, how's it going? Just trying to pull them in versus sitting behind the desk, waiting for people to come by, audio listeners, I'm typing on my phone, then like that's the deal. So no one's going to approach those two people at Legends. And probably no one's going to approach the two surf gals, even though the surf gals were relatively attractive, and that kind of helps. I saw a couple guys go over and ask about it. But at the end of the day, like that's what you got to have. I mean, Amazfit, they got a lot to explain, a lot to talk about, and they have at least got a little, hey, spin the raffle. But even without the raffle, people stop by because it's interesting. It's a watch, it's tech. But yeah, I don't I don't know how Surf and Legends make it to the 26-27 season. Sorry, Surf fans.
Yeah. But that being,
And
I
that
mean,
froze.
and I'm trying to think of who was out in the tailgate party. It was like, who was out there? I mean, Amazfit was out there. Puma was out there. There was quite a good representation, and it was all like really fun activities or good food or things like that. And I just think that made all the difference. Like whoever wanted to be out there was really knocking it out of the park. And it's just so much better than just those kind of convention center booths that they do all the time that I don't really think work. Center had on the race course, you have to walk by it. They had a wall ball station set up, and they had some sort of contest about how many you could do unbroken.
Always people there.
And
Never
there were
was
constantly
empty.
people there. Yeah,
It was never empty.
yeah. So there are people who know exactly what to do with this, and I think the other ones are just going to need to figure that out, because Surf could do some really fun stuff.
I mean, you're a dating app, sure.
Yeah, they could do all sorts of fun things, and that would be really cool. So anyway,
I mean,
I think like you said about the tailgate party, these things have to be a little more natural. And
yeah.
Well, and there can't always be that. But again, like you've got to either get off your ass behind the thing and engage people, even if you don't have the pull-up contest or whatever. But like, I mean, I don't really see anybody engaging with the HYROX people. And again, I see them on their phones. So it's like somebody somewhere spent millions of dollars to build the thing, to ship all the stuff. It's like I've joked before about the Super Italia. The Super Italia thing is at every event. It's a big, giant structure. And they definitely stick either a stadium employee or staffing company person behind that booth. You can just tell. And like you ask them about the coffee, they're like, I don't know. They told me to fill the water and hand it to people. And it's like, you spent all the money on the front end and then you don't do shit in the back end. What Super Italia? Why should I drink it? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly. It's been at every race that I've been to.
Yeah.
Go Brewing does the best HYROX thing ever.
There you go. They activate. They've got
the beer mile ones.
The beer mile-ish. That is, I still think the best thing. You go in there, you're chugging non-alcoholic beer, you run 160 meters on the treadmill, and they put your time on the board.
But
it's fan-fucking-tastic.
But even if nobody's doing that, the booth looks active and they're engaging and they know how to.
They have got it nailed down. The only thing that bothers me is I can't get that shit up here.
Go Brewing?
Yeah.
Do you want me to ship you some?
Every week.
Do you want me to ship you some?
Hell yeah.
Okay, we'll talk offline. Nobody arrested me.
Yeah.
If they're
no. Like, I mean, I asked them when I was down there. I'm like, you guys coming to Canada? They may maybe eventually, but yeah, it's great, and I like the product. By the way, I'm not insane. It was 35-30. It's in the doubles race.
You motherfucker.
Hey, I watched him late at night. I was tired.
I'm happy. I'm glad we solved this. I'm glad we solved this mystery.
What's that?
I'm glad we solved this mystery.
Yeah, I drove 4 hours. I was, I got my wires crossed.
It's been a long weekend for all of us. We're barely hanging on.
I apologize.
Yeah.
So, 35.
My poor legs right now. I'm not going to be able to stand up from sitting here all this time. Matt, are you sore from our race yesterday?
Hang on one second.
Too involved to be
35-26. Hang on, I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
So watch her. She goes
Chuck.
Am I wrong?
Oh man! If it was anybody but Joanne, I'd post about it. But guys, I just can't. Can't.
I'm just saying. If
you want to listen, if online vigilantes, if you want to post this and call HYROX,
I didn't post it. I didn't go.
No. I'm fine with you talking about it here, but honestly, I just don't have the energy.
No,
but no, she literally tosses
right on the stream. It was right in front.
Did Chalk go? Did Till say there she goes, chucking it over the fence?
No, they did not mention it. They didn't say anything. I was sitting there watching with Ryan, like, she just throw her goo in the fence.
I mean,
and I looked it up. I'm like, well, maybe it's okay. And then I looked in the rule book.
And what does the rule say? So we're clear.
It's a 2-minute penalty.
To do what? What's the?
They call it littering.
But even though it's not on the course, even though it's over, it looked like that's probably where like the timing.
Not in a bin anywhere in the HYROX on the track or in the rock zone.
You can't drop anything. You take it all
No.
out with you.
Anything you take with you, you need to bring back.
Yeah.
Or
It's like the
dispose
Spartan
of the
races,
bottom
they were
trash.
that
Well,
way.
I'm okay with where she chucked it if they want to change the rule, because that's like where the timing 10 was. At least it wasn't like on the field of play.
No, and again, I don't think she had any ill intent by it. I just don't think she reads
But
the
she
rules.
did in fact yeet it over that fence. Dave,
Did I
you
use the word
accurately
right?
described it.
I used the word right. Yep. There we go. And it was, like I said, completely nonchalant. She had no idea that she shouldn't do that.
Race
It
bed,
just-
man. Race
It's
bed.
just
What are you gonna
off
do?
it goes.
So you asked if I was sore. Going up the stairs Saturday night after the races, I noticed it a lot. Today, going up the stairs, I noticed it a little. But let me tell you, I shortly after our race got in that fucking hot tub. Like, I don't mess around. Like, I came straight here, hot tub, pool, and yeah, and the fact that I do that pretty regularly is what keeps me. Because before the race, I mean, what did I stretch for? An hour before the race?
Yeah, you were very diligent. You were.
Do you want to talk about the cool setup into the race?
I thought that the setup, so they had a spectator entrance, right? And then far around the corner was the athlete entrance. And you would go straight in the athlete entrance, and then there's a security guard. There's like a couple, right? And one is at the beginning of registration. And when you want to go to registration, they say to you, what's your start time? And if you're not within like an hour and a half, 2 hours of your start time, you're not getting in. Like, you don't get to register. And so the lines were not long. Like, I was really nervous. I always get my chip the day before. Like, they always have registration open the day before or whatever. And I love having that because then I don't have to worry. And they didn't have that this time. And so I was really, really worried that, I had heard in Dallas, I think Morgan and Kat spent like over an hour in the registration line. Like, they were getting really nervous, and they wouldn't let them cut the line until there was only 45 minutes till their race. And think about that. Like, I'm not so sure that they realize how long it takes us to kind of get ready and warm up and everything. And so you could get registered. And Matt didn't want to write his number on his arm because he's a problem. And it's a good thing I finally talked him into it. Yeah, I finally talked him into it, because to get to the warm-up zone, so you could go down the hall, check your bag, but you couldn't get into the warm-up zone until 30 minutes prior.
Yeah. We had that in Toronto too. You had to have the right
But this wasn't
time.
just like, here's the door, go into the warm-up zone. This was, you go down outside the stadium down. We're basically walking down the parking lot driveway, right?
No, I mean, we were still within the main part of the stadium, but it did send us down some stairs that would probably have gone down to like parking down there or something like that. I'm not really sure what's down there, but down some stairs and then down the big escalator and then around. And then you go through this tunnel where when you cross over into, they have this big inflatable thing. And when you cross the threshold to get in, these neon lights go off. So, welcome, welcome. And then that's where like the turf, and they had all the sleds and stuff. And because they had it, clamped down to where you couldn't get there until 30 minutes prior, there was plenty of room, right? It was
small. It was like a narrow underground bunker.
Yeah.
And,
it was almost like the tunnel to like the locker rooms or something, is what I'm assuming.
But it was super efficient. I mean,
yes, bathrooms down there. They had all the water, all the Red Bull, had everything. They had you line up, show your number. It was just run extremely well.
Yeah, that's what the fact that it's a stadium and so super. I mean, you go to the bathroom, there's like 100 urinals, right? Which is what you need for a concert or a football game. I never, guys, there's a whole thing. You never stand next to a guy if you can avoid it. You always go at least one over. And there was never anybody close because we're in this massive area.
Well, and for we women who are usually standing in line waiting, there were no lines. Like, everything was completely accessible. The problem is that if you get there 30 minutes prior, you have to be in the start tunnel within 10 minutes. So you got 20 minutes to warm up.
So you need to warm up ahead of time.
We were just outside. Everybody was running outside to get warmed up, and then they would go down and sort of finish with ski row, sleds and that sort of thing. But once you got used to that system, it was perfectly fine. It was really well run. And again, I just think, yeah, stadiums. I used to think convention centers were like the best thing you could do at these races, and they just need to start doing U.S. stadiums.
Well, again,
the cost is fairly astronomical.
Well, funny you should mention that. Let's go to my next topic, more U.S. races. They did a CEO challenge or something. I looked down and there were all these people in like these pink shirts. Or what would you even call that? Mauve?
Oh.
And it was like
they're plum. They're plum, Matt.
I don't know if those were plum.
I really want to know, because I haven't got to hear your plum rant. I kind of want to.
We'll hear this, and then I'll do my little plum rant.
All right.
So anyway, I hear Tommy or the GHA says something about CEOs, and I think he said Mo's name, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll interview Mo and Christian if they're down there. And sure enough, they had just finished, and so I talked to them both on the record and off the record. And one of the things Christian said to me was, I was asking them about, and I'll tune into the podcast and or YouTube to see the videos, all the part that's on the record. And this part, anything I tell you now is also on the record, is, hey, are you coming back to Phoenix? Because this thing's huge. It must cost a lot of money. And Christian said, they absolutely want us back. A year ago, they had no idea who we were. What's a HYROX? This year, they're like, please come back. Please come back. Unlike convention centers, which are filled every weekend, you can't fill a stadium all year. You can say concerts, but there's like a few people that can fill a stadium. Most concerts are across the street at the smaller, what's called the basketball venue, the 18,000 seaters. So they need people in non-football season. So we will definitely be back there.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I've often thought about that. We still call it the Sky Dome in Toronto.
Right.
Where basically the Blue Jays play there, and that's it.
Right.
There's nothing going on most of the time, right?
Right.
Especially through the winter.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think Allegiant's the same way. Like, why wouldn't they? And they could even use it in the summer. I'm not sure that the Allegiant's being used all the time in the summer.
So then I talked about U.S. cities, and they said to me, listen, like, the peak is somewhere in the high teens. Like, we're not going to be 25 cities in the U.S., which kind of makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. They also said they want to keep adding more days, right? So I think that isn't the worst thing in the world, right? Like, listen, we're not. It's never going to be like, it's never going to be the Spartan model, right? No. Spartan is at 60 events a year at one point, and that's multiple days within those cities, right? Yeah. So you get 2 weeks in New York, maybe we get 2 weeks in Chicago. This isn't what they said. This is me kind of extrapolating. Like, Houston just added a fourth day, right? So I think the idea of the sellout is probably going to be gone. There's not going to be like you should be able to get tickets. And as I said, when I posted about Phoenix a week ago, tickets went back on sale. Like, they're not impossible to get. They're going to keep adding days. And we will eventually see. They didn't give me like proof of this, but I think this fall we're going to finally see some more races. I'm confident based on our conversations. I think we're going to see some more cities in the fall.
Cool. But it sounds like not a lot, but that the cities that we do have will accommodate as many people as want to be there.
That's the feeling I got. Like, and the other thing that Mo said on the record, which I liked, is it has to keep getting better. It can't, and I think what he meant was we can't throw more events and then have them sell out and have it suck because it's overcrowded. I think they want to find that balance of, we're still, like, it's okay to not sell it out because it's a better experience then.
Yeah.
So I think that's like, says to me it's not just 1,000% greed, even though people say that about them all the time. I think like every I said, they could
business is there, but
they could, like I've said for a long time, they could double the price in London and sell the same amount of tickets, and they're not doing that. So I think they're smart enough to know.
I think what you're describing sounds to me like a pitch for long term,
right?
To have long term success, as opposed to the quick, like you say, double the price, get that short term success.
Which is what honestly most people do. Most people get real greedy, real fast.
and move on to the next time.
Mhm.
Or just don't see the forest through the trees and are just like, well, fuck it, I don't care. Let's buy a big office, and next thing you know, so I think I felt like how many years are people in the Midwest going to complain about Spartan not having enough races there? It's like, sorry, it's just not going to happen. There's not going to be an Omaha HYROX. I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Never going to happen.
But just as long as they're in cities where people can easily fly to them. I mean, I'm now in a place in the Southwest United States where I can access multiple races, so I think if we can get to that point where we're maybe a 3-4 hour drive from most things, and I don't expect, if you live in Kansas, that you can expect, but you'd pop down to Texas, right? Like, it wouldn't be hard to get to something.
Right. And I also do think that because they're European, they do really consider North America one thing, even though we don't, because they travel so easily in and out of countries. So to them, adding Ottawa is just like adding New Orleans. You know what I mean? Even though
but if they don't recognize how big the states are, then they have no clue how big Canada is.
Well, no, but they do understand. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't like a lot of people in America think adding Ottawa is not a big deal, but like to them it is. You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Can I tell you a little story and out a friend who I know will listen to this? I won't say their name.
Sure.
But I got one of these things about not recognizing the size of Canada today or yesterday or whatever it was. Is a friend asked me, going to Vancouver, are there bad spots to stay? And I'm like, so luckily I do have a nephew who's lived in Vancouver a long time. I said, I'll ask my nephew and let you know. But Vancouver is as far away from me as the Florida Keys.
Right.
Actually, much more farther.
Right.
Much more.
Right.
So anyway, just one of those little things. So
all Canadians don't know each other.
No, we don't.
So Cheryl, talk about your purple plum issues.
Yes, I want to hear the plum rant. Go plum crazy.
I'm gonna I'm gonna be really careful about this because I think I may be the only person in the sport that cares, right? But
no, listen, if it's one thing I know from doing this so long, when you speak, at least one other person will chime in. Absolutely, I feel that way. Thank you for speaking for me.
Yeah. So you guys will stop me if I go too far. But Matt and I had a conversation about this idea that they had about the plum, right? Like, we're gonna put the qualified people in plum so that that they've qualified. And I was very much looking forward to having that visual cue because, quite frankly, I'm old enough that the years run together, seasons run together. It's hard to kind of keep track. How's Seka Arning doing this year, right? Like, I just have a hard time sort of keeping track of all of that. And so I was very supportive of the idea of, all right, let's give us all a visual cue. So whoever crosses the finish line, you can just kind of count. And I will say, like, here come the women. So it was the first one, right? Here come the women out. And first of all, they're not necessarily wearing what I would call plum. It's more of a purple. And I'm like, okay, I can handle that. I mean, I say to Matt, that's fine. And it worked great for that first Elite 15 women's race, right? Because who came in first? The 3 people wearing plum, right? So it's Joanna, Vivian, Lauren, they're all in plum. And so then all we have to do is count to 3 for the next 3 girls. And we're thrilled about this, right? And I'm like, okay, works. I can handle the fact that I don't think that's plum, but it's a different color and we all know. And then the men show up and all hell breaks loose as far as I'm concerned. Like, I think that this is supposed to be a system that's supposed to...
What color is Dylan wearing? You tell me.
You tell me. Like, it looked... I thought at some point it looked pink. I wasn't quite sure. It was like this, I don't know, neon mauve color. And it's him and Charlie that are running around that arena in these kind of pinkish purple shorts. And then I know, because at least I'm smart enough to remember that Alex had qualified, but he's in black shorts, right? He had crossed that, he had done the intro in his purple kit that HYROX had given him. And then he just gets into the start tunnel and strips it all off. He's just like, yeah, it's another yeet situation. So he just runs in what he always runs in. And so what it looks like to me in this elite race is all these guys in black. And then here's Dylan and Charlie, who seriously look to me like maybe they had heard that you're supposed to wear your Halloween costumes on Thursday to the office. And then they didn't get the memo that nobody else was going to wear their Halloween costumes. And so they show up in these shorts that quite frankly just made them look odd. Like I just didn't think that it really worked at all. And here's Alex, who it would have been nice to have that visual cue. And he's just like, no, I'm not doing it. And so he just kind of threw a monkey wrench into all of it. And then you have the doubles women who some are in their plum, but then you've got what? Seka and Manuela, who are in blue. And I thought, well, did they just choose to wear that? Or is that their plum, right? Like for all of HYROX sort of demanding that if you're going to wear your own kit, it needs to be the same color as what we're providing. That clearly didn't happen, right? And so I was quite frankly really confused. And I was a little frustrated by that.
All right, are you ready for chat's answer on this? I just put Dylan's outfit into chat.
Okay.
What color is he wearing? He's wearing purple, a bright purple top and matching shorts. Me, can you be more specific? Yeah, it's a bright royal purple, leaning slightly toward violet rather than a dark or muted purple. Think grape/amethyst tones, not lavender and not maroon. So there's 27 colors mentioned. None of them are plum.
None of them are plum.
And I said, what about plum? Plum is close, but not quite right. Plum is usually more red/burgundy, and it reads darker and richer. What he's wearing is lighter and cleaner with more blue and purple. Best matched, royal purple, violet or amethyst. Definitely not plum.
Okay. Do you know a single athlete who is not particular about what they wear when they race?
Yeah.
I don't know a single one. However, when HYROX wanted to when they said we're going to make them wear plum, I was just like, lame, I don't care. But if they wanted them to wear something to delineate people who qualified from people who didn't, make it something cool. Just an armband.
Yeah.
A wristband. Something like that. That's
maybe
cool.
they'll learn their lesson from this. That
hey, it's a status symbol, right? And it doesn't interfere with my rate. It allows me to wear my shorts, my sponsor, my gear. Like I'm comfortable in my outfit. The one thing I want to be is comfortable.
Well, I'm guessing Ronco or his management were like, it's not happening. So, and then maybe they said, fine, wear it and then take it off. It's like, I don't know where the line went, but I had to ask him as soon as he crossed the finish line. And you could tell by his chuckle that he really appreciated it. Because I asked him about his race. And then I said, one more question. Where's your plum? And he said, I'm not sponsored by Puma. Why would I have to wear that? I race in black and I'm sponsored by On. And so it was like, I think a lot of these things, it's one of these like the boardroom idea that's never run by anybody else.
Yeah.
Any other person outside of them could have told you like, well, how about an armband or something a lot smaller?
A tattoo. They've got him tattooed already.
Well, by the way,
I love the tattoos on what's his name? Oh Lord, the guy that Hunter pushed, that Hunter yeeted.
Jeremy McConnell.
I could just see his tattoo on the back of him amongst all his other tattoos. Like if you squinted really far, you could see
blends in.
What a waste of time.
Oh shoot, what were we just talking about? I lost it. I got all excited about plum. We talked about how many events there were. Damn it.
Oh. Anyway, Cheryl, I agree with you. I think it.
Yeah, I was really frustrated because I am a big fan of just kind of that. I love how HYROX has this sort of slick look about it. You know that, and I think they do a really good job of marketing. Nike provided the shorts that Charlie and Dylan ended up running in, and I think Nike could do better. Like I don't know.
Well, they probably were like, "What do you have?" And they're like, "We have this thing," and they found it, it close enough to plum. But again, kind of plum.
Yeah. It was just, I think it was a massive fail.
Oh, so I want to, so by the way, I made a horrible mistake because I didn't think that Morgan and Fozzie qualified. I thought they were the first one out. And Cheryl and I were counting. I will take the blame for it, even though Cheryl and I were counting. And we said, there's been 2 purples and 1 black. I forgot what the thing was. But I'm interviewing them, and I said, you seem really happy. You disappointed? They're like, why would you be disappointed? I go, because you didn't qualify. And like Kat's face was like, the fuck are you talking about? And then I was like, oh no, like I've done the worst possible thing. And then we got over it. We joked later. I saw her on the rower yesterday and she was rowing and she was like, hey, do you think we qualified? I was like, yeah, you're it. You know what I mean? So like, but in the moment I made a horrible mistake. So I blame the colors.
No, because the problem is that Seka and her partner crossed and they were wearing the blue and I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
I thought that they hadn't qualified because they weren't wearing the purple that everybody else was wearing, right? Like if they're going to have this rule, then communicate that, right? And so here we are in the back because you're positioning yourself so that you can see the athletes, and I'm just giving you information, and the information is inaccurate because.
But I also agreed. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And the other piece about Seka that made it worse or that helped it be wrong was that they didn't qualify. Molly and Meg qualified and gave up their spot, so they got it after the race.
No, so
it wasn't in my mind as a thing. So yeah. Sorry guys.
No, it well, and I mean we could go into Kat's solo race where she didn't know she'd won, and then she did win because of the 15-second penalty of who crossed before her, but then Emily
beat her from the second wave anyway.
Just yanking her around, the poor woman.
Emily Dahlman was in the second wave.
Emily was in the second wave. What are they doing?
She showed up. Well, I think she showed up that morning. I'm guessing, but
it sure looks like a lot of elites did.
They should have wisely put her in the first wave because, as Cheryl has said, Cheryl's most famous quote. We're all adults here. A second famous quote: "There aren't 50 passes out there in Phoenix. Like there just isn't."
No, Amy Bevilacqua nearly got pushed out of the first wave. I think
a ton of women did. I posted what I saw. Now that I know that they're going to fix it later, I'm not going to post so fast. I'm going to ask the women who were in those second waves to go straighten it out.
Yeah. HYROX has officially become kind of a burdensome bureaucracy. Like people aren't talking to each other and stuff isn't happening. And these people who have bought pro cards.
That's the whole fucking point.
That they're not getting the guarantee that the pro card is giving them, which is that first start wave, which is, all that stuff. They're not getting it because somebody's not talking to other people. And Amy gets a random email from somebody saying, oh yeah, there's not enough room in the start tunnel for you. So we're going to put you in the second wave, which I think there have only been like 300 pro cards total that have been sold.
That includes people who do doubles.
Right. So you can't tell me that 50 women with pro cards are showing up, right? So
there was not a chance in hell.
Nobody knows what's happening. And I think that's getting really frustrating for them. Rightly so. I mean, they paid for this for a reason.
Like somebody is answering the elites at HYROX.com because they are getting straightened out, and that's good, but that's not acceptable. That's like
get to the floor.
That's okay.
Yes.
But that's not like what should be happening, which is like we have a list. Let's see which one of them have pro cards.
Right. Like honestly, any random volunteer could probably do that. It's not hard to check.
Run it through chat. I mean, give me a fucking break. Like here's your list.
But I will say somebody who was given an email who said, you're out of the first wave. And they tried to like talk to a bunch of people and email who they could, and they could never get a response to it. But they kept looking on the actual start time, for, the start list, and it still had them in the first wave. So they just showed up and they got in the first wave. Like for all the emails that they got sent, it actually didn't matter because nobody's talking to each other. So,
right. And you can't tell me, oh boy, we have 60,000 people. Nope. We're talking about a pro wave.
It's a short list.
200 or 300 people per race.
Yep.
Not hard to figure out. And most of them you should recognize by now anyway.
So, by the way, with the pro card, did we establish that you can get into sold out races with it?
Yes, I believe you can. You need to give them a certain amount of notice, but they'll let you in. Especially now with this new system, when people need to race, they're going to let them in.
So I went through, I didn't go all the way through it. And I've talked to some people who have it. And when they say apply for it, you just get one, from my knowledge. There's nothing entering times or wins or anything.
Well, they don't go by like I could just get one.
You can, but you're not guaranteed first wave without the sub 58 men.
Certain start time.
Sub 102 women.
But you can get into a race that's sold out.
So is it worth $250 to get?
I think a lot of people in the UK it would be.
All right, well, somebody else do it. I'm not going to do it to test it out because my name stands out, but somebody else do it.
Tell us about it.
All right.
I thought that was interesting. I still shake my head at the pro card. So anyway, I always will.
All right. Do we want to talk about DEKA dumbbells, or we cover all that, Dave?
We did. I think we covered all of it. I don't think anything.
You did not. I have a question.
Oh, fire away.
Did you listen to the episode?
Of course I listened to the episode. What do? I don't have a job anymore. I have nothing to do.
Okay.
I haven't got a job in the world.
Okay, so I understand dumbbells, right? But for the women, the lunges are 33 pounds and the burpees are 22 pounds. Tell me what dumbbells I'm using.
Oh, it's the metric system. It should say on the rule book. In the rule book, it will say what ones you can use for it. There's actually a I don't want to call it spectrum. There's a gauge of how much you can be off on the weight. So
I could fudge it a little. I could be like 20 pounds.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta look. So there is what is an acceptable dumbbell and what isn't is within the rule book. I can't remember off the top of my head what they are. I do believe I'm gonna correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody can correct me, but I believe for the women, for the RAM burpees, it's that you actually end up with lighter.
So I could do like 2 10-pound dumbbells.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because quite frankly, we know a devil press is way harder than a RAM burpee anyway.
Boy, I don't know. When I think about just holding 2 10-pounders, though, that doesn't sound bad at all.
No, it's not. But it's the downside. When you go down, you're actually.
So I have to go down lower because I'm chest to the ground.
You got not chest to the ground. You got to break the plane of the top of the dumbbell, right? Whereas on the RAM burpees, right, you can hit that with like your stomach and stay up. So it
comes out as far as the mobility.
It is within the rule book. It tells you what dumbbells you can use and what ones you can.
Okay.
And it is all because of metric system, basically. Like,
okay.
And that the RAMs are an odd weight.
Yes. So that's what I was asking, because it didn't seem like it was going to be easy math.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And I had one other thought. This was a conversation that my husband and I had about BBJs. And so, Dave, I want your input on this. He was BBJ judge, and we were talking a lot. We were talking with some friends about his experience with wall balls and how women tend to do a lot better at wall balls, especially squat depth, just because we tend to have better hip mobility. Right. We have a better range of motion. So hip mobility isn't as much of an issue with us. His observation is that men do BBJs a lot easier in general. And I'm wondering if there is a center of gravity issue with burpees and women. Like, we tend to move different. Like you have all those things where women can do this movement, but men can't. You see that on your ramp feet or whatever. Have you ever had any experience with that? Do you think there's a burpee issue where women have a tougher time with that?
What are they having a tougher time with, the burpee itself or with the guy?
I think it's like if their boobs aren't even, sometimes there's an issue. Is that what you're getting at, Cheryl?
I got issues with burpees, and it has nothing to do with my boobs, so I won't say that.
Are you sure? It's a safe space here. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, don't worry. I got no issues with that. But just the down and up, like the ability to sort of get down and get your hands down and kick your feet back. There seems to be an issue with like being able to throw your weight back. The men seem to be able to do it easier than the women, and I'm just wondering if it's a center of gravity thing.
I don't know about that as much as maybe it is an upper body power thing, especially on the way up. Whereas a lot of the guys will use a lot more upper body power to bounce back up again. So you're using like that push up, that explosive push up to help you bounce back up. That could play a factor there. As far as the heading down part, I might just say that us as guys generally are stupider and more willing to just smash ourselves into the concrete. So I don't know. I've never looked into it enough to see if there's like a center of gravity or balancing, but my first thought about the coming up would be that explosive power.
Yeah.
Would be shocked if I said that ChatGPT agrees with Dave?
Okay. Look, it's something I never thought
when
about.
we think of some people who are really good at it, like I know Bethany is fantastic at burpee broad jumps, and then someone like Kate Davey was an absolute menace at burpee broad jumps.
Good point. Look, I just raced with Dustin Needham, which I highly recommend it. That man, it's almost like he floated on those burpees.
He has a great power to weight ratio.
Absolutely incredible. So yeah, maybe it's probably just a skill thing. You're probably right.
So here's the breakdown, according to my friend Chat. The movement heavily favors absolute power, horizontal force production, hip extension, and general drive. Men generally have higher absolute lower body power, greater fast twitch fiber density, higher power to body weight in explosive movements. The burpee portion adds on upper body push and a get off the ground demand that compounds fatigue. The broad jump specifically rewards raw distance per rep, not just rhythm or efficiency. I should make videos with this stuff. Net effect, women usually lose more time per rep or per set compared to men than they do on purely cyclical movements.
Okay, so I guess I just need to get to work and stop making excuses.
Or
Well, but it's the same reason women, again, not always, not every, not all, but tend to have an easier time with wall ball depth, right? Because of how they're fucking anatomically built versus how men are built.
and I think what we've really learned is that I know more than ChatGPT.
Well, you know at least as much.
Because I know that
Dave
HYROX
knows
doesn't
at
mean
least as
HYROX
much
Supers.
as all the information ever gathered in the world put together by a million supercomputers. Dave is right up there. Okay, what else, guys?
I got to throw out that I did a DEKA event this weekend at a new gym.
Oh,
we had a new gym, Battle Arts gym. This is Santino Morella's gym, Matt. So you know,
did we
did
talk
not.
to him?
He was not there. We talked to his wife.
Okay. Did you make a John Chena joke or no?
What in the what now?
John Chena.
Oh, John Chena. No, I did not make a John Chena joke. No.
Cheryl has no idea what we're talking about, and it's fine. Only if you will, or a lot will.
Yeah, but first time event, and I said this when they planned it, very ambitious for a first DEKA event, 2 lines of strong and a mile all in one day, indoors. I'm like, ambitious, but pulled off quite well. Went pretty good. A lot of people had a good time. Ryan and I got our first run in for this year, so we had a good run. Felt like hell, was absolute misery, but we're in the dance anyway. We'll be there.
Okay.
So yeah, it was really good. A lot of fun, a lot of good people, and it was a good event.
So tell me why just doing a DEKA and a strong is so. Did you say 2 days?
2 lines.
2 lines. So 2 lines.
What does that mean?
2 different lines of equipment going at the same time. So that means you need.
Isn't that normal for a gym, like to have 2 to 3?
For a lot of gyms, first ones they just do 1 line because you got to make sure your judges are in order. You got to make sure your registration's in order. It's just taking all the things you got to do and doubling it. And also you have to build the course, so you have to build 2 good lines, and it takes floor space.
Right.
And then to switch it midday into a mile adds more to it. So it was ambitious, but pulled it off. But yeah, I had a good race. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. That was the first time Ryan and I did a mile together, and it was great. I think it actually is probably the distance that suits us best.
It's fun. It goes so fast.
It was quick. And we ran a fairly smart race. We're right now we're going to be sitting second, and our time we have more to give. We definitely, like, we did not prepare, and I just think we can be podium contenders this year. We weren't sure if we would be, but we can be. For age group, always had the age group.
Hey Dave, I do have a DEKA question to ask you. DEKA Europe and I think DEKA America has been sharing the overall leaderboards. Have you been checking on these leaderboard names?
Yes, some of them I have. Yes, go ahead. You can even ask me specifically about one you want if you want.
Well, I just saw that it's just like it's the first of the year, and we talked about this year. You get to say, "I want to see the map of your gym, and I want to see the effort." And so
I have. So yeah.
You don't have to.
No. So
I just want to make sure they're all.
So this
good.
is the new one that just came out, right? Yeah. So I haven't checked through these ones. The last ones that they posted, I did go through, and I looked into a few things. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So there were some.
So if I see these posted by DEKA, this means you've already looked at them, or usually they posted first, then you.
I'm going to say they post them, and then I end up chasing them.
Okay, not ideal, but we'll take it.
Yeah, but yeah, so this one is a new post. So I do go through them just on my own, and I basically look for things that go, that ain't right, or that looks strange, or I don't know that person, or something like that. And then it doesn't always mean I'm going to ask for a video, but I'm going to do some digging. Right?
Okay.
Just to make sure that somebody has the resume to back up the time. And if I can't find the resume to back up the time, then I will go further.
Like ask for video.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, for example, straight out, there was I think he had the second fastest time that was posted the last time they did this post DEKA Europe. Australian guy, and some people had mentioned, hey, who is this guy? check it out. And I replied to them that I've actually already looked at one of his videos beforehand, and that he has the chops to get that time. So,
All right. I think we should call it a day.
All I have to say is that people who were thinking they should have gone to Phoenix, you did miss out. Like, definitely go if they do it again. It was everything and more that I thought it was going to be.
that's awesome.
Yeah. And I got to hang around with Matt.
I mean, you know,
See you later.
way to wreck it.
Back in the hotel room once again, reminding you that you can support this channel through the cup of coffee. You can find it in the description and or anywhere in our Instagram link in bio situation. It's a great way to show you support this channel. There'll be shout outs. There'll be fun sneak previews. There'll be some special Zooms we'll do with just members. Anyway, love you, miss you, mean it. I've got to run. Every day above ground is a good day.